Dushyant, it's great to see you. I'm looking forward to our conversation about the thing that everybody has to do, pay their bills.
Likewise, Karen, thank you to be talking to you. And first of all, congratulations on building payments.com as well as your other consulting business. I know it's never easy to be an entrepreneur, especially for a couple of businesses. So congratulations.
Well, thank you for that. That's awfully kind of you to say. And back at you. You're a newly listed company, so there's lots of congratulations all the way around for that. But to get specific about the topic of conversation, I mean, I alluded to the fact that you are in the business of making the experience of bill payment better for consumers and the billers. And you do that in the context of creating a unified billing experience. What does that mean? What is the ideal billing experience from your perspective?
I think first of all, billing itself, the bill payment isn't the most exciting thing we do in our daily lives. Buying a shoe or buying a shirt is more preferable than paying a bill.
For sure.
But it's an important necessity.
Right.
And we created Paymentus to simplify that experience, as you rightly pointed out. From my vantage point, if I take you back to how bills used to be originally paid and then draw the comparison here, it might be a little bit easier. So how I think about it is there was a time when there were no checks. You would go to the billing company's office and make the payment in cash. And,
Yep.
US Mail came out with a great idea. You can just put the check in the mail and the billing company will get it. That was great, but it only worked for a percentage of the customers. Some folks who still only got paid on the last day when the bill was due, they were still walking to make the payment.
Yep.
And when the banks try to offer a bill payment solution on the web, the online bill payment, they literally copied the paper paradigm and put it on the web and called it online bill payment. What I mean by that is you simply take, if you make a payment on a banking company's website, the billing company has no idea the payment has been initiated. Much like in the paper world, when you make mail a paper check,
Yep.
The billing company doesn't know. And that problem became a bigger issue for the billing companies as literally the digitization matured. And billing companies said, look, I need to be able to take matters in my own hand and offer solutions to my customers. So they started by offering IVR payments, web payments, mobile or agent assisted and walk-in cash, etc., kiosk. But when you put it all together and each of these are being serviced by multiple vendors, the experience isn't the same. So you could be dealing with the exact same customer, but since the customer is coming from multiple channels throughout the year, the experience isn't the same. And we felt, and still do, and we have proven that now with our execution, that a unified experience where a billing company can use one platform with one integration, but across all their channels. So regardless of where the customers are interacting with the billing company from, the experience is identical. There's no loss of quality of service, and experience is actually better. And that leads to tremendous value proposition from a customer standpoint. Number one, you improve the customer service. And number two, you reduce your cost to serve. So that's what we mean by this.
And in terms of where you see the most impact happening today, is it the biller? Is it the biller site directly that consumers are going to and dealing directly with the biller, or through the bank channel?
Actually, biller, there was a time that everyone used to go to the banks to make the payment. And what happened to the bank bill payment, unfortunately, was in some ways, if I may use a metaphor, is like some of the other technology companies where they just stayed the same. They didn't change, and they didn't change with the changing needs of the customers. I could buy a shirt in Walmart using a credit card, but I can't pay my utility bill using a credit card. There was from a bank site. In fact, you could use your credit card issued by a bank everywhere else in the world, except on the bank's website, which also is an irony of it all. So what we have seen is that after using Paymentus unified Paymentus platform, billing companies start to see tremendous results, where we would actually used to promise to the billing companies early on in our career as a company that if within 90 days, Paymentus will produce more payments to you than all of the banks combined. So what they did was it opened billing companies' eyes. And the reason was that eventually, since the banks did not evolve their solution and remained with their legacy platform with the legacy providers, the billing companies started to choose companies like Paymentus and our platform. And all of a sudden, consumers can get a text message in their on their cell phone and make a payment from there. They can go to the website. I put my kids to bed late at night and I realize that, hey, I have to make a payment. I have multiple options now, but I don't have to wait to call next day or go to the bank and make a payment and then call the billing company. Please don't charge me late fee because it will take me several days for you to get the bill payment and so on. So we have seen tremendous progress on the billing side. And now what we are doing is we recently announced Bill Center, which is a modern bank's potential answer to this by taking all the things we have done for the billing companies and extending that to the bank channel so that they can modernize their own customer experience. So customers can pay using the payment method of their choice. They can make the payment at the last minute or at any time, including the last minute, the payment because the payments are happening in real time. So we believe the Bill Center would be able to provide banks the much needed help they need so that they're not seeing the deterioration of the customer adoption. Instead, they start to attract the customers back on their ecosystem.
Isn't though the one of the issues with going through the bank to pay a bill is the bill presentment? So you don't have the detail that you get if you go to the biller site where you can actually look at the specific details of the bill, and if there's a question, you can ask the question or engage in live chat. So there is that functionality that is present when you go to the biller site that certainly isn't available when you go through the bank site.
Absolutely. I think 100%. When you go to a billing company's website, not only you can get the bill information, you can also have the contextual conversation with the billing company. Well, why is my bill late this month? You can get that question answered. You can actually be on a chatbot and ask that question. And on our platform, you can answer that question on behalf of the billing company. On the banks always viewed the billers as an account number. So they aggregate all the account and all the monies from multiple users and put it towards to a billing company's bank account number. That was in the 80s and 90s. Doesn't work anymore. In fact, if I can give you a quick example, my daughter is a recent she's just left home payroll and she's in the job market herself, and she
left the home payroll. I like that.
She went to a very large bank. She's a customer of the bank and made a payment and to a credit card company, and she's very concerned about the credit rating and so on. She's new to that market and makes the payment. The bank says it will take 7 days for the payment to get to the credit card company. After 7 days, she goes and she doesn't see the payment. And now she's in a panic. Where did the payment go? So she calls me. I happen to be one of the people she knows who knows bill payments. And I said, maybe you should check your mailbox. Maybe the bank has mailed a check to you. And that's exactly what they did. The bank actually took a payment from their bank, her bank account in her name, send it back to her in the name of the credit card company. And we have taken pictures of that, and I intend to send that to the CEO of the bank. And so this is so archaic. And I asked her to use.
You think that's crazy.
Yeah. So I asked her to use one of the apps we are supporting, PayPal through our IPN ecosystem, which is more modern and so on. The biller search is easy. You can search the billing company. You don't have to enter all the details of PO box number and everything else. She found and made the payment, and the payment got there and very quickly. And so it's a very different experience. So that's what we are all about. We want to make it easy for the consumer, so that this was an example where the bank had a customer, a young generation customer, and they lost the customer because the service is completely from the 80s.
Wow. What is the catalyst for billers now to want to invest in this unified billing experience? Is it that the proliferation of channels now is is so great, that and the different touch points that consumers want to engage with billers have expanded. So they need it from an efficiency standpoint, or are they really driven by the customer experience?
I think it is both. They want billing companies have very simple perspective. They want their customers to be able to access and interact with the billing company's ecosystem wherever the customers are. So if I'm on an app of my choice and I'm paying other things with it, or buying other things, can I pay my bills from it? And that experience needs to be very similar. So that's from a billing company's standpoint, what they think about it is, can I make sure that a customer is able to, like I said earlier, can pay how they want, when they want, and where they want. And that could be at a bank. And previously it used to be very hard. So billing companies will have to have separate relationship with each of the banks or through third parties, et cetera. And there will be different systems than their own IVR system and the web system and so on. What Paymentus has done, it created the unified platform where you only have to integrate once with the Paymentus platform. Once you're integrated with Paymentus, everything else is easy. You are able to now get to any of the channels on your own ecosystem as a billing company, but then you're able to get to PayPal, you can get to Alexa, you can get to Walmart, Green Dot, you can go to any of the banks, hundreds of banks and the credit unions, which are now on our platform through Paymentus acquisition we did. And that's why we are actually being selected by some of the largest billing companies, as well as mid-size and small billing companies across the board. We recently announced a partnership with JPMorgan Chase, where their treasury side, they're actually, they are taking our platform and the holistic receivable management system they've created with other components on JPMC's ecosystem, to take it to their clients. Look, this is the modern way of integrating with our system. And once you integrate one time with Paymentus platform, like I said, all of the options are open. So now you can get a real-time payment. If once JPMorgan Chase on the consumer side is on our platform, they can get a payment in real time to their customers as well.
How do you get to the long tail of billers?
We actually mostly through a platform like Paymentus, which is the easy, very configurable, easy to onboard on, and also through partnerships. We have actually a pretty strong partnership framework we have created now, and we plan to get to the long tail of billers, but mostly because of you see a lot of hard work had to go in earlier on by creating a platform that's easy to build integrations with, and has all these integrations with some of the billing companies, which may have thousands of customers. We recently announced that we have actually we haven't announced it yet, but we have recently renewed a agreement with a utility service provider, a software provider who has thousands of these companies as well. So we feel like that's one of the ways to do it. Have a platform, have the ecosystem, but also have partnerships.
Do you think that billers now think that the billing experience is, I don't want to say maybe it's a competitive advantage, or it's a part of their brand proposition to make that easier for their consumers to do business with them? And I ask that because you have to pay the bill anyway. So making it easy is good, but is it being driven by the recognition that is a way to continue to extend the brand promise of being customer centric, or is it just driven by efficiency?
No, customer centric. I think it is. You would be surprised at how many, and we work with companies of all sizes and all industries. So we would work with healthcare companies. They have patient experience executives now. We'll work with utilities who have customer experience executives. Likewise, insurance, auto finance, mortgage, all major industries, government entities. they are very focused on making sure that it's easy for easy to do business with the customers, and customers do and engage with them, especially if you are in a situation where you have an advantage. If you're the only utility or the only insurance company serving that particular area, there is an additional responsibility where you feel more so now than before, because of how easy it is to make the management team aware. When a customer is frustrated, you can start going to social media and start to communicate how you feel about a certain insurance company or a utility or a healthcare provider's experience. So folks are concerned about that, and but also a little bit of this is better customer experience leads to better loyalty. So you have more repeat customers, people may buy more services from you, but also it reduces your cost to serve, as you talk about the efficiencies. But then there is another point which I think gets missed in all of this, which Paymentus actually, we took it to heart right from the beginning, and we live it every single day, even today. That to us, customer experience is not just about the customers using our platform to make payments to the billing companies, also the employees of the billing companies who are interacting with those customers. How much their lives have we made better by providing them automation tools and taking some of the unwieldy processes out and replacing them with more efficient processes through our platform. So, for example, one of the things we have a patent on now is you could call a billing company who's on our platform and interact with them, ask them questions about the bill. When it comes to the payments, they can take your payment information without actually dealing with your financial information, meaning our platform will take over, will separate the call center executive out of that conversation and take all the information and then route the call back to the call center staff. That part actually saves tremendous, first of all, headaches for the organization as a whole, because they now don't have to worry about PCI compliance. On top of that, you as a team member are no longer worried about, hey, I want to make sure I don't have to be concerned about exchanging financial information, because it's always risky to do that. And third is calls are shorter.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
So that's how we look at it. We want to make it easier for all participants in the who are using our platform: the billing companies, their own staff, the team members, the customers, and our partners who are using our platform to bring more customers to our platform.
Bill payment is very sticky, and banks have not done a very good job of, to your earlier point about providing a modern bill payment experience. Do they have an opportunity to recover that, do you think?
I think the answer is yes, but that will require them to change the mindset. So the way I think about it is, if a bill payment executive today in a bank is making a decision to stay with the legacy systems and processes they have since 80s, it is equivalent to me to asking their employees and team members to write using a typewriter, and when it comes to searching anything, using yellow pages. So, because frankly, Google is newer than their bill payment processes, and laptops are probably newer than iPhone is definitely newer than their bill payment processes. So I believe that they actually, and we are very committed to solving this problem with the bank, for the banks. And we actually created Instant Payment Network primarily for the purpose that we want any network participant, whether it is banks or innovative companies like PayPal, Amazon, Walmart, to come in and join and improve the customer experience. So we believe there's a tremendous opportunity at this juncture with Paymentus platform. But at the same time, they will have to, we believe that this, especially now the creation of Bill Center, which we recently launched, allows the banks to start to modernize that experience. But if they don't, or they are slow to that, as far as Paymentus is concerned, we are capturing those payments anyway, because we are signing billing companies at a very fast pace. we have a pretty strong ecosystem. So as far as we are concerned, we are doing pretty well. We have set ourselves up. We are not dependent on any party per se for their decision for Paymentus to be successful. We are growing rapidly and will continue to do so. And as billing companies are voting Paymentus in each time they look at our platform and the service.
I think if you think about the two areas of uncertainty for consumers when paying their bill, they want to know, well, what is that amount? What does that amount relate to in terms of charges? So there's that uncertainty which needs to be addressed. And then is, when I make that payment, when is it going to post to my account? And I think that those are the two things that, when you are interacting directly with the biller, you can get clarity on one, so you know exactly what those charges are for. And you do get a sense, you don't necessarily get the instant payment experience unless that's available, but you do know that there's a confirmation that it's been received, and they do tell you, they do communicate with you when the payment has in fact been posted. So I think unless banks can solve for both of those things instantly, I think that's a problem.
Correct. I think that combined with choice for the customers. So let me give you both of those.
Choice, you're right.
Yeah, the context as well as the speed, both of those get solved with instant payment network. That's what we are all about. So a payment originating from a bank through instant payment network will get to the billers who are on our platform. They get to the billing company immediately, and they get the confirmation back. The customer get the confirmation back from the billing companies. There's no need for any further exchange. And the bill data they're getting is since we are the system of record for the billing companies, it is exactly what you will get if you call the billing company directly, or you dial the 800 number or went to their website. So those problems we have solved. The third aspect is the choice, which
That's
is
true.
Why can't I use my credit card to make a payment? Why can't I use my debit card? Or better, even some more advanced, digital wallets and so on. So some of those things also have to be addressed by the banks, and I believe that they can. I think we have created a model at this point that banks have the opportunity to solve that with partnership with Paymentus. But as I said, we're not dependent on. We will welcome banks, but we are growing and we'll continue to grow, and we'll continue to do our part to simplify bill payment for the customers. And it is so easy nowadays. You can use a mobile app, whether it is the mobile app for the bank, or you can use a mobile app for PayPal, or you can go to the billing company's website or through your mobile phone and make a payment, or dial the number or text message and so on. So we are making it easy, regardless of who wins or who wants to participate.
I think part of the integrated experience too, the unified experience, is, the communication along the way, the prompts to when, payments are due, payments are upcoming. If you've scheduled a payment, a reminder that you've scheduled the payment. I mean, I think all of that is important, and it creates, a sense of certainty, which I think is important, but also a sense of transparency and clarity, which is really important for consumers too.
Exactly, 100%, 100%. Look, the customers, we have to give credit where it's due. I mean, some companies like Google, Apple, and some of these companies, PayPal, they've done a great job in educating the customer what an experience should look like.
Yeah.
All right. So, and all of us as businesses, whether we are in technology businesses or banking businesses or billing businesses and so on, we have to provide the same level of service to our customers. And that's what we are doing. We have decided that we want to be the absolute best in customer experience. We want to make sure our customer experience is leaving no one behind. That's why it's very important to Paymentus to, just like we are tackling the need for customers who want to interact with their billing company through Alexa, we want to do the same thing for the population who's underprivileged, who may be lining up while they're at Walmart to be able to make a payment. We want to make sure that no customer is left behind in this entire perspective. And I think that's exactly what we all need to do to make sure that customer experience is simple, easy to use, and you have choices. You give the customer the options and give the immediacy, which they get everywhere else. You go to buy, Amazon can deliver a shirt to you next day. In some cases, some of the items they can deliver same day.
Yep.
While a bill payment. In fact, if I give you this example, you'll find ironic that one of the light bulb moment for me was when I felt that you could use your cell phone in France, issued by a local domestic cell phone company, and you hang up the phone, the French telecom will send to AT&T or Verizon immediately the call detail record. Next day you come back home, and if your bill due date was billing cycle was tomorrow, you'll probably get that bill issued which will contain that call. Now you come back home and you make a payment. It takes a couple of days for the phone company to get the payment. It's so right. And but the billing companies don't feel the need to solve that problem directly by talking to banks or in other than very special cases, top few billing companies, because it takes resources. It is you're taking something away from something else, which is a priority. That's why in unified platform like Paymentus makes the most sense that just integrate it once, and you have access to all channels, all applications, all destinations of all types, banks, consumer platforms, all channels of the billing company's ecosystem through one platform. And that's why in some ways, billing companies are choosing Paymentus over building it in-house.
Yep.
Some of the largest companies have actually moved away from building in-house or their in-house solutions to Paymentus platform.
Makes sense. So the instant payment part is the game changer. If you ask me, the ability to make a payment and know that it's made that day, posting that day is I think, the way people would like to be able to manage their bill payment.
Exactly.
Not to have to remember or
Yes.
plan 3 days or 7 days in advance.
Exactly.
Dushyant, it's a pleasure. Thanks for your time. Thanks for all that you are doing to take the pain out of bill payment. If only we didn't have to pay them, but we do. Since we do, it might as well be a good experience.
Absolutely. And look, the billing companies provide a tremendous service, and they need to be paid. And all we can do is to make it easier for our consumers. And bill payment is a 60% of a typical household expense.
Yeah, for sure.
And we need to make it easier. Thank you again, Karen. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and congratulations again, and look forward to more of these conversations.
I hope we will have the chance to do that very soon. Thanks again for your time. Bye-bye now.